Today, we are at Orlando's cheapest amusement park, Fun Spot America. Come with us as we compare both locations, Orlando and Kissimmee. All right, Brian, what are your first impressions of Fun Spot Orlando?
It's a cute, small area. You do have to go through security, but the park is completely free to walk around, and it's right off of International Drive. I think it's actually International Drive ends up here. So this is part of the iDrive Entertainment District. So you got Universal less than a mile away. You got the International Premium Outlets really close to here too. So it's close to a lot of things, and it's a good place to go if you want to just have a carnival feel.
Yeah, have like an afternoon, a couple hours doing something else.
So we're actually grading the 2 different fun spots on 5 different criteria to see which location is more supreme. So number 1, we're grading it on ride offerings. Number 2, food offerings. 3, shopping. Number 4, entertainment, which entertainment could be like shows or arcades or
non-ride entertainment.
Yes. And number 5 is atmosphere. Now, atmosphere can be a little bit
subjective.
Yes. So we're talking about general layout, talking about the decor, which, as we just said, it feels like a carnival, and the locations. Obviously, we already talked about location. This one's close to iDrive, or it is on iDrive, so close to Universal, close to the outlets and everything that's on iDrive, whereas the other one is in Kissimmee, so you're close to 192 and all those tacky, touristy shops.
Is it closer to Disney than this one?
It is closer to Disney,
Okay.
specifically closer to Animal Kingdom.
Now, we said that this was the cheapest theme park in Orlando. Why is that, Brian?
Because you have to pay per ride.
So it's free to get in, and then each ride costs money, or you can get day passes or even season passes, like year-long passes.
In general, each ride is generally either $12 if it's in the higher category, a person, or $7 if it's in the lower category.
Yeah.
Now, we can't come here and not ride anything. So Aubrey and I decided that we had to ride at least one roller coaster at each of the locations, and then we're going to ride one of the go-karts.
Yeah, one go-kart.
Fun Spot claims and brags to have the world's tallest sky coasters. That's the thing that like pulls you up in the sky and then drops you and you like swing around.
The thing I'll never do ever.
Heck no. Absolutely not. It said that the one in Orlando is 250 feet tall, whereas the one in Kissimmee is supposed to be the world's tallest at 300 feet. Again, I haven't fact-checked them at all, but that's what it says on their website.
You didn't get your tape measure out and fly into the
No,
sky
I
to measure it?
No. But I did see some people flying, and heck no, never would do that.
I'm not into that. So here are the ride prices. You can see the 2 different categories, the $12 and the $7, and then the Sky Coaster is more expensive. So single flyer, $40, double flyers, I guess each one is $35, triple flyers, each one is $30. Oh, but you can fly for only $10 with a single day pass. Now they have Dippin' Dots here, Auntie Anne's, and then this food truck called Clucky. In the food court area, they have a Johnny Rockets and a Sbarro. So all the food here seems to be like specific name brands.
And the prices aren't that bad either. They're
No,
like
they're
typical
not.
Orlando prices. Nothing really more than like $14.
Yeah, so you can get chicken and fries for $11.99, which for a theme park, fine.
Yeah. I mean, that's how much a regular restaurant costs in Florida now.
Yeah. Now for entertainment here, they do have a Gatorland gator experience, and I think they have baby alligators, and then you can feed the alligators.
Now this is additional, so it costs $6 to go in.
Yes, it is a $6 fee. I don't think we're gonna do it because we've been to Gatorland, so
check that video out.
Yeah.
That's fun. But that's cool that Gatorland has partnered with Fun Spot America.
yeah. And we'll see if they have that at the other location. Got some classic carnival games over here. Your basketball, your balloon pop, your
racing.
water gun racing. And they have fresh squeezed lemonade, which is actually only $5, which for fresh squeezed lemonade, usually it's like 10 if you get it at a fair. Pretty good price too.
I think the other food offerings that are like fair food is actually decently priced. And the last thing for entertainment that we haven't gone over to do yet is the arcade. So both locations, both in Orlando and Kissimmee, have arcades. And the arcade is basically where, if you want to have like a party, you can rent out that space there.
Here's the party area we were talking about. They got plenty of tables and they can host multiple events at once. I don't know if you have to make a reservation though, or if you can just show up. And here is the arcade. What did you think of the arcade, Brian?
Pretty typical. It's not crazy big. It's
Pretty small. Yeah.
But it has some fun things in there. You got skee ball in there. You got pinball machines.
They had a classic Pac-Man, and it was only 25 cents to play.
Yeah.
You can't do nothing for 25 cents anymore. I would say generally it's not very crowded today. It's the Saturday of spring break, and the lines aren't long at all. It's not claustrophobic or anything. Now we're going to go ride some rides, okay? Let's go check out the go-kart options. All right, so they have 4 tracks here. There's yellow, red, green, and blue. The yellow track is the longest. The red track is flat. The green track just says it's their most popular and complex, and the blue track is the steepest and has the longest drop, and it's the tallest track. So Brian, which one are we going to do?
We gotta go for the longest one. Come on.
All right,
Let's
so
go
that'll
for the
be
yellow.
yellow. We were not able to film on the go-karts. How was your go-kart experience?
So we picked the longest track, and they let you take 3 laps.
Yeah,
So,
I was surprised. I thought it was only going to be 2.
And it had tons of helixes in it, which is really, really fun. Now, when I first got up the first hill, there was already a T-bone.
Somebody got stuck. I started rolling backwards.
Did you really?
Oh no, I had to put on the brake.
But it was fun, just flooring it, pedal to the metal, going around the curves and seeing how fast you could go.
Meanwhile, everybody was passing me, and then I got to the end of the pack and I was just
Enjoying your time?
enjoying my time, yeah.
It's probably one of the best go-kart experiences I've ever had.
We waited in line about half an hour.
Yeah.
The line didn't look very long, but it moves really slow. And you're just like in the middle of engines going boom, 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 and then a gasoline smell. I'm glad to not be in that anymore.
But we still got to ride the only wooden roller coaster in Orlando.
So I had my hair in a clip, and they made me put it in a ponytail instead and like tuck it into my shirt. They were being pretty strict about people's hair. There was like a girl that had a bun that they gave a helmet to put her hair in. Make sure that you follow the hair rules. Here she is, the wooden roller coaster. Like I said, only slightly terrifying.
Okay. Here we go. Aubrey is afraid.
I'm gonna close my eyes.
Oh no. Here we go. It was rough.
There was a lot of zero G's on that one.
Flying out of that seat right there.
I don't know how smooth that footage is gonna be.
So we just got off of White Lightning, and it's supposed to be modeled after the Coney Island roller coaster from like the turn of the century. And supposedly, according to Fun Spot, it is the only, quote unquote, wooden roller coaster in Orlando. Might I say, it was a fun spot. It was rough though, it was rough.
It was, yeah. It was a little rough.
A lot of fun though.
There was a lot of like up and down.
Jumping out of your seat.
Yes, definitely.
Now, before we go to Kissimmee and review the other fun spots, I want to give our ratings out of 5 for the criteria that we said. Number 1, we said ride offerings. I would say I would give it 3.5.
Yeah, I was thinking 3. There's not too much here.
But there's fun rides to do.
Yeah.
Food offerings, 4. It's carnival food, but it's not expensive carnival food.
Although I will say you basically have pretzels, ice cream, chicken tenders, burgers. That's pretty much it. So, yeah, I think maybe a 3 for, yeah.
Shopping, 1.
No shopping.
There's not really shopping at all. There might be a little shop up in the front. Not really any shopping.
Yeah. No like souvenir shop or anything like that.
Entertainment-wise,
I mean, you got the arcade games. You
got the Gators. You got some games, not a lot of time.
But, I don't know, probably also like a 3.
3.5.
Yeah.
And general atmosphere, it's pretty chill here.
It's pretty chill, yeah. Like
So-
I said, this is a Saturday on spring break.
Decor, definitely on theme of a carnival. Location's pretty prime. General layout, it's a easy
Big
loop.
circle, yeah.
So I give it a 4.
For the chill vibes.
I think the biggest thing about this fun spot is probably the go-karts.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the 4 different go-kart tracks. But tell you what, those lines move slow. So if that's all you're going to do, you're going to be in line for a couple hours. Now we're off to Fun Spot in Kissimmee. So we are now at Fun Spot Kissimmee, and it is a night and day difference, literally and figuratively, to the other one.
Now, there's a big difference between the Orlando versus this one because there is an area called Old Town, and there's tons of shops, there's tons of restaurants, arcades, there's even a haunted house on there, but the clientele is totally different here.
We kept saying how the other location was chill vibes. This is party vibes. It's big party vibes here. I don't know if it's just because it's nighttime or just because of the nature of what there is to offer here. Yeah, it's definitely party vibes.
It's like Panama City, Gatlinburg.
Slight like Bourbon Street vibes in Old Town.
Yeah.
And I don't think you seem to be able to like drink beer up and down the street over there as long as it's in a paper bag. So there's a lot of people walking around drinking. There's a lot of smoking as well,
Which was
of
not
various substances.
which was not at the other park. A big thing is that you didn't have to go through security in this one.
Yeah, we had to go through a metal detector at the other location, but we didn't have to do that here. There's actually several entrances here where you can just walk in and out. So yeah, definitely completely different vibe. I mean, you still have 1 or 2 like roller coasters, the carnival games, the arcade. Those are relatively similar. There's a few more carnival games here.
Yeah.
The Pac-Man at this arcade is 50 cents instead of 25. So that's a flaw.
But everything else is about the same price.
Yeah, like all the food there. I don't think because like there was a food court at the other location, but here there's just some food trucks. But then you have Old Town right over there that has a restaurant. So
for the sake of time, knowing how long it took us to get on rides at the other fun spot, we're only going to do one.
And it took us 5 ever to park here. Everywhere was charging for parking, and then we ended up just like swinging into a spot on the street that someone was leaving from. So we ended up parking for free, but everyone was trying to charge. And the Fun Spot parking lot itself was very
small.
So again, I'm not sure if that's because it's nighttime or because there was like a classic car event going on, but like I said, big party vibes over here, a lot more crowded.
Let's go explore. Let's find our one ride that we're going to do here.
So the way that the Fun Spot here works around Old Town, there's like this primary Fun Spot hub. And then right next to it is Old Town, but on like the north and south end of Old Town, there's other little pockets of rides that are also Fun Spot. And pro tip, if you go to one of those sections on the end, you can still get tickets there and there's like no line. The line in the main area was really long, but the lines in the other little like spots were non-existent. That's where we're gonna refill our card so we can ride our ride.
I think there's a variety of different foods here, whereas the other place is kind of like carnival food only. So more options. There's more options here.
Now Brian made a comment earlier that I agree with, that the other fun spot was more kid friendly, because this one feels like it's a place for adults to play. Again, maybe because it's nighttime, but still, I felt like the other fun spot had more like kid rides, and they also had a water play area.
Well, and this place has a lot of bars and a lot of
yeah,
CBD smoke shops in it too.
yeah.
Not kid stuff.
Brian's trying to get me to go in there, but I told him I wasn't here for the haunted house vibes tonight.
It's also $20 a person.
$20, yeah.
But
it looks pretty cool though.
I think one of us needs to do it, especially since we're not doing 2 rides here.
Be my guest, Brian.
I'll let you know.
We are endeavoring to ride this very like old school, very temporary looking roller coaster. Looks like it might be a little rough, but we'll see.
It kind of looks like an old cat and mouse.
A little bit, yeah. All right, so we conquered this beast behind us.
It's called the Hurricane. I asked how old this was, and they said it was from the 90s or early 2000s, so close to 30 years old, and it definitely you could feel it. My lap bar wouldn't go all the way down, and there's a ton of bunny hills in this, and so I literally was standing up.
Jumping up. I kept banging my elbow against the sides.
But that first drop, when it first drops down, is really, really intense.
It is, yeah, yeah.
And it's almost as high as the other roller coaster here that goes upside down, that wooden roller coaster. Yeah, I was like, oh no, I didn't expect that.
As it climbs up the hill, it goes. But
unlike the rest of the rides, because this ride is like all the way at the end of Old Town.
Yeah.
Not in like the regular part of Fun Spot.
Area, yeah.
There was no line. We just walked on.
We did.
Whereas some of the other rides at Fun Spot could take an hour to get on. 30 minutes, an hour. And this ride was just as good.
It was fun.
All right, one of us had to volunteer to do this haunted house, which supposedly was voted as one of the scariest haunted houses, one of the scariest haunted houses in America by the Travel Channel. Wish me luck.
Good luck. Better you than me. I hope you live. Love you. Yeah, so it's right around 11 o'clock. A lot of the shops are actually closing. Fun Spot stays open till midnight, but it seems like some stuff on the strip over here closes at 11. Oh, snap. Oh my gosh. He just went in by himself. I wasn't into the Halloween vibes tonight. Here he is. How was it?
Oh, it was scary.
Was it?
Yeah.
What kind of things were in there?
I kind of had my blinders on the whole time because they're scare actors that follow you.
Oh, they follow you? And you were by yourself, right? You were totally by yourself.
I was like, oh no. I would say Halloween Horror Nights level of good in there.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. What kind of scenes were there? Paint the picture for us.
So much.
So much. Like all types of horror?
So you walk into the house and it's like you're supposed to be staying at this bed and breakfast. Everything is like, you like go through a cemetery, you go through some like bedrooms where people are massacred in them, and then there's a hallway that it feels like they have fog that's set up so that it looks like you're going through water. And then they have like the tingly things stuff in your face.
The like fishing line.
The worst part is that people follow you.
Like the whole house?
And you don't know when they'll stop.
Oh.
And so there's a couple times I turned around and I was like, hey. But I was scared, you know, because this is like a 4-story house. You're like going up and zigzagging, and then there's different, like, the floors aren't level, so like sometimes you're like this, and then like going up and down. It was really cool. Definitely worth the $20.
Worth $20. All right, you heard it here, folks. Yeah, this is one of the go-kart lines, and we know how slowly it moved at the other location.
This has to be like an hour.
Worth of this, it's gotta be.
At least.
So they only have 2 go-kart tracks here, whereas they had 4 at the other location. But they still have one, they call it the Vortex, so it has like a 4-level spiral, which is very similar to the yellow one that we did. So this track has the world's steepest go-kart 32-degree banked curve. Oh my god. But we're not gonna do it, so.
No, that line's too long.
It is, unfortunately. So you still got your Dippin' Dots here. You have a Cinnabon. There's an Auntie Anne's, but it's in Old Town rather than in the main park.
They also, they had an A&W.
Yes, they did. They had an A&W. You don't see too many of those.
Not anymore. Not in the States. As we are finishing up our day at both locations of Fun Spot, both in Orlando and Kissimmee, we still have to do our ratings. So,
yes.
What were our criteria?
So, the ride offering. How do you feel about the ride offerings here?
I think that there are slightly more rides.
Yes,
And I think that they're more intense, more thrill rides. However, I think the other park had more family-friendly rides, as you stated before. As far as ride offerings, I think I'd give it a 4.
Yeah, I'd give it a 4.
Food. If we're including the options in Old Town as well, which I think we should, I would give it a 5.
Yes, there's lots of options over there.
You got all types of cuisines. You got A&W root beer. You got the fair food here in Fun Spot, but then you also have like small restaurants. They had like Peruvian food and British food, gyros, kebabs, that kind of stuff. So there's tons of options for food here. So yeah, 5. Shopping, 4.
4, yeah, I'd say 4. There are quite a few shops in Old Town, but they're all pretty like...
They're kitschy.
Kitschy, yeah.
But again, we're including Old Town in this because Fun Spot by itself, I don't think really has
no
a top. Entertainment-wise, there's no Gator place like the other place. You got the Haunted House, which was really good, but again, that's not Fun Spot, that's Old Town. The arcade, I think, was lesser here than it was at the,
They seemed about the same size to me.
I think there was less options, and it just kind of feels dingy in there.
I would give it a 4 because I think there are more things to do.
And finally, the last thing, which was atmosphere. Maybe it's the time of day, maybe it's the clientele, but I'm gonna give this a 1.
Oh.
Yeah, because I like the chill vibes of not having to be like, oh, what is this person around me doing? I don't know. Clientele was a little rambunctious tonight and not as family friendly.
Yeah, it was party vibes.
Yeah, party vibes. So,
I wouldn't give it a 1. I would give it probably like a 2 for my personal experience this evening. I mean, there are places you can go to get some quiet. They had a moonshine tasting place.
Yeah.
So like all kinds of stuff. So the grand total for
Orlando was 15. Average was 15 out of 25. The Kissimmee location, the average was 18.5.
Oh.
That means which one is better? According to our rubric, it's Kissimmee. I think there's more offerings. However, I don't like the atmosphere as much. So
I think they're like sort of apples and oranges. They have their similarities, but yeah, the one ride in Orlando was that's kind of like a quick afternoon fun visit, whereas this can be more of a like nighttime event.
If you're looking for something fun to do in Orlando that is cheap, that isn't the theme parks, check out Fun Spots. There's 2 of them. There's actually a 3rd one in Atlanta, which is relatively new. If you like what you saw and you want to see more, click that subscribe button, the bell notification, and we hope to see you in the next one.